Let's talk about a place you know inside and out. Quite literally, your stomach. But we're going to look at it in a way I bet you've never ever thought about before.
Yeah, really. Just for a minute, forget about digestion and acids and all that. I want you to picture your stomach as this incredible, mighty fortress, complete with towering walls and powerful defenses, all working around the clock to keep you safe. Kind of changes things, doesn't it?
Because, just like any fortress, your stomach is constantly under siege. Every single day, there's a huge battle going on in there, a push and pull between forces trying to protect it and forces trying to break it down. And keeping that balance is absolutely everything.
So let's look at the two sides of this fight. On the defense, you've got this amazing mucus shield, a thick, slimy layer that acts like the fortress wall. And then you have these tiny repair signals called prostaglandins that are basically the construction crew, always on standby to patch things up. But on the other side, you've got the attackers. The stomach's own acid, which is great for digestion, but really harsh on the walls. And then there are what we're calling rust attacks. Scientists call it oxidative stress, but it's basically just wear and tear at a cellular level.
Okay, so with this crazy battle raging 24/7, what if the defenders could get a little backup? Well, scientists are always on the lookout for things that can support our body's natural defenses. And that brings us to one very interesting compound they've been studying. Let's meet D-Limonene. Now, don't think of it as some kind of warrior. It's more like a super skilled mechanic or a supply officer for our fortress. It's this compound that's been looked at for its potential to help keep that fortress lining, that gut wall, strong and healthy. So you might be wondering, how could this helper actually work? Well, from what the research suggests, it seems to have this really clever 6-part strategy. Let's walk through this 6-point defense plan. So, here's the game plan in a nutshell. It's all about making the main shield stronger, calling in the repair crews when needed, building new roads for supplies, making sure the gates are secure, calming down the internal alarm systems, and even cleaning up all that cellular rust. It's a pretty comprehensive approach. So, let's break down how each of these works. First up, reinforcing that shield. Remember that slimy, protective mucus layer? Well, some evidence suggests that D-Limonene might actually help the stomach produce more of it. It also seems to support those key repair signals we talked about, especially one called PGE2. You can think of PGE2 as the foreman of the construction crew, shouting out orders and making sure the fortress defenses stay strong. Second, you got to be able to call in the repair crew. When the fortress walls take a hit, you need a team to fix them, right? Well, some studies suggest D-Limonene may support a key protein called COX-1. And COX-1 is basically the get-to-work signal for the body's natural construction crew. It gets them on site to promote healthy cell turnover and patch up the walls.
Third on the list, building new supply routes. A fortress can't make repairs without supplies, right? It needs bricks and mortar. Well, D-Limonene has been studied for its ability to boost a protein called VEGF. And this guy is like the chief engineer, in charge of building new blood vessels. These are the supply roads that deliver all the nutrients needed to rebuild and keep that stomach lining healthy.
All right, number 4 is all about securing the gates. The lining of your gut is like a massive wall with these super tightly controlled gates. D-Limonene may help maintain the structure of this wall, acting like a really vigilant gatekeeper that helps stop irritants from sneaking through to places they shouldn't be. Point 5, calming the alarms. Sometimes the body's immune system can get a little overzealous and start sounding the alarm bells a bit too loud, which can cause irritation. Well, scientists have seen that D-Limonene may help bring some balance. It might help lower the alarm bell molecules while boosting the calm down crew, which helps keep everything peaceful inside the gut. And finally, cleaning up the rust. Remember that oxidative stress, that cellular rust that can build up on the fortress walls? D-Limonene has shown some real potential to boost the body's own antioxidant enzymes. This is basically the internal rust removal team that scrubs the walls and helps protect them from damage. Okay, we've just gone through a ton of really fascinating science. It's pretty cool stuff. But now we absolutely have to pause for a very, very important reality check. I need to be completely clear about this next part. So here it is, the most crucial point, and this comes directly from the source material. D-Limonene is not an approved treatment for ulcer. The studies we've been talking about are exploring how it might work in the body, its potential mechanisms, but that is a world away from being an actual medical treatment. And this leads to the most important takeaway of this entire explainer. What we've talked about is for educational purposes only. Before you even think about trying a new supplement,
any supplement, you have to talk to a doctor or another qualified healthcare professional. They're the only ones who can give you advice that's right for you and your health, okay?
So, with that very important disclaimer covered, let's zoom back out. After all this, what's the big picture? What could all this research into a tiny helper like D-Limonene mean for our stomach fortress?
So what we've seen is how this one single compound is being studied for how it might act as this whole support system for our fortress. Strengthening its walls, managing the repair crews, securing the supply lines, and just generally keeping things calm and clean inside. It's a pretty incredible look at how nature might help out our body's own master plans.
And that really just leaves us with one final big thought. When you see how one compound, just one little thing found in nature, might have this complex, multi-level plan to support our body, well, it just makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other amazing tiny helpers are out there, just waiting for us to find them?